everyone, welcome back to another Friesland Productions video, and you're with me, Yarun, and today I am going to be showing you how to paint one of these. The one with the black horse in it is the Friesian from old retired model that went from 2010 to 2016. In the painting, he is wearing a crown that I made. And this is a painting of the Arabian mare that was introduced 2014 and ended 2019. This is Diamond, a repaint of the Lipizzaner mare, and I chose her today for the painting because of her shades of colors, and plus it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I decided to move on to a more complicated model to paint after. It's a little bit harder to paint a Schleich model that has multiple colors because it's the shading, the colors, and also all the different types of paints and more different paints and shades of colors that you'll have to use. If you had a horse that was one color, for instance, the Friesian stallion that I painted, he was easier, but he was the first one that I did, and from what you could see in it, it was, well, really watercolory and not that well. But as I've been doing these, I've noticed that I have gotten better, and so yeah. Before we move on any further, I'll show you basically the basics of the easiest way that I found how to sketch out a Schleich horse. So in every photo, there's a line structure of the shape here. By taking a pencil or something and simply just going along the lines of the horse's face structure or whatever you want to retrace over, this is how I learned the easiest way, is by taking photos and tracing over them where the highest points are and where the bends and creases, and, well, you get the picture. Like right here, you can see her face has been now evenly divided up into different sections of where the grooves are and when there's not grooves. And you can easily see that once I finish outlining them. Okay, so now that that's over, let's get back to what we're doing. I'll do a later tutorial on more how to figure out where your lines are, even if it is difficult and you have trouble seeing them. So, yeah. When you first do this, do not expect much to come out of it. It took me quite a while to figure out how to do this. And so, basically, just by tracing photos and seeing basically where the lines are and basically practicing those lines in circles and odd shapes with your hands, it makes your hand have a muscle memory that will actually help later on when you're trying to do stuff. And you'll eventually get faster at sketching and eventually get it where you're doing better and really good. It actually took me an hour to get this sketch perfect the way I would want it, so that way the outcome would come out great. Yeah, I think I've been sketching for a couple years now. Probably about, I don't know, 13 years or so. But yeah, it's taken me a while to practice, but I've gone through all the hard parts and stuff to help you guys figure out, well, basically where to start and how to figure things out. The more detail that you put into the sketch, the better the outcome your painting will become. So you can see right here that I am basically struggling with this and using squares, circles, triangles, and lines to help me make this as even as I can. And eventually I just end up where I erase like almost the whole entire half of the face later because I wasn't pleased with it. And here in a bit you can see that I finally get it where it's just right. Then at this point you can see where the nose starts to get a bit skinnier and a little bit weird, but it will get better. I'm sorry. Can't remember what horse that reminds me of, but, well, there's my hair. And this is the spot where I noticed that I needed to change the angles because of the face. I accidentally did the angle wrong. I generally like to make my horses facing a bit more towards the left rather than the right. So then I realized I had to make her head slightly slanted a little bit more towards the right rather than making it facing more towards the left. I kept the eye angle, I left it alone because that thing was just fine. The other side, I totally had to deconstruct and restart. I take breaks and continually look at the model. It's better when you have a picture or the actual model in front of you so that way you can use it as a reference. But one thing I suggest, keep the model at the same angle. A picture, you don't have to worry about that, but when you have the model in front of you, it's very important to keep it the same and look at it from the same angles that you were. Now here, I'm beginning to struggle with the ears. Right now, I just watched and looked and followed the line of the ears. It is in a U shape, almost. So I decided to do a U, right in between the ears. Following the line down from the other point of the ear, all the way to the other side. So I just leave it at that and continue on the other side of the face to let that have a break. If you're ever having a struggle with something, always give it a break and move on to something that you know that you're good at on the part of the face or body. Now here I pick it back up on the ear, and I spent quite some time on the ear and the side of the face and the nose, the majority of it. To me that a horse's nose is not round, so I had quite some trouble trying to fix that, and basically it took me some time because a horse's nose is not real. I've never seen a horse with a really round nose before, even in pictures and such. I'm just used to horses having more of a square or rectangular nose, or either oval more like, with some characteristics of, I guess you could say, triangle or a point slightly a little bit, which her nose has. It's like very round though. Now you can see here I'm working on the beads and the ends of her mane. I enjoyed working on the beads, including in the painting. Here's when I start to just kind of clean up just a little bit and erase bits of the nose, and now I'm starting to work on the eye, which was quite some time because of how her face shape was. It took me quite some time just to get that other side perfect. You see here, I draw some faint lines across where her eye began and where it ended, so that way I didn't go anywhere past that point or across it. One thing that's important is make sure that you trace out the vein. If there's any veining on the front of the head or on the body, make sure you trace out that. And also any tendons or other facial structure that is on the horse, make sure you outline those as well. Here am I doing the nostrils. I'm pretty finicky about my nostrils on a horse because it has to be placed a certain way in order for me to say that it looks good. Now the model itself, the nostrils for me was a little bit off, but I tried to do my best in the painting. But the angle that I had her at was pretty good because I kind of liked her at that angle, and now here I am putting in the splotches where her markings are. I messed up on a little bit on them, but of course it's a painting, and here I am moving that dot around. That's on her face. It's not exact, but it's pretty good as I could get for a painting. It's very important to make sure that you do a sketch, or at least have an image that has been outlined on by your phone, on an app, or by a computer, as well as you could get it and you can use that as a guideline, or either you could sketch it yourself like I did. For beginners, you can probably get on the computer and get an image and do all the outlines. Of course, you might want to do a couple practice photos rather than do actual photos, but of course you can do whatever you feel like in whatever pace that you would like to go at. Here I am fixing the ears. It took quite some time because of the way that her head was faced so down. Basically, you were looking straight down on top of her ears because her head was pointed so down as a horse would look. At another horse, curiously wondering what that horse is or who it is. Or you basically get the picture if you own a horse. The way a horse would look at a item that moved that it wasn't expecting to move, or yeah. But that's how she was looking. Like, Diamond is one of my favorite customs, so I decided to do a painting of her. Most of the times, if that like horse is my favorite custom or favorite model, normally I will do a painting of it. Or either if I just feel like it, or either I just want to experiment with colors or such. Well, this brings our video to an end. I will see you guys in part 2. See you in the next video.